Hi, I'm Karen Flagstead, and I'm one of the Sunday school teachers here at the White Lake United Methodist Church. I hope school's going well for everybody. I hope you're all soaking up all that knowledge and getting smarter by the day. Last week, Ms. Ruth read a well-known story about Daniel and the lion's den. He went through a couple different things, and the lion's den was one of them where God protected him. It told about how much Daniel loved God and loved to talk to God. He was a very good man and was rewarded by being appointed like a governor of a certain region by the king. Other men were also appointed as governors of other regions. Instead of being happy with what they had been given, those governors focused on what they had not been given, Daniel's region and what he was doing. Of course, Daniel was loved and respected by the people of his region, and the other governors became jealous. Jealousy is a very dangerous emotion. It almost always leads to anger, and when you are angry, you often do things you wouldn't normally do. And you're usually regretful afterwards. If we want to combat jealousy, we need to practice contentment, being happy with the gifts we have been given. God gives us gifts that are right for us, no one else. He has a plan for you and for me. Be content in that knowledge. Let's take a look at a video about jealousy.
This is Cain. Cain murdered his brother Abel because his offering was pleasing to God. Here are Leah and Rachel. Both are married to Jacob and fight for Jacob's attention. These are the brothers of Joseph. They sold Joseph into slavery because their father favored him. This is Saul, former king of Israel. He became jealous of his faithful servant David because the people sang praises to him. My name is Dr. Francine Simon.
Hi, Francine.
Last week was great. My husband is great. My kids are great. I had no jealousy issues with my neighbors or coworkers.
Wish I had your life.
Needless to say, life is great. Who's next? You can be honest. This is a safe place to share. Saul, was there something you wanted to say?
I don't care what you talk about, as long as you are quiet. When you're loud, I can't hear the harp playing on my iPod.
Wish I had an iPod.
Saul, it was rude and selfish of you to interrupt the meeting with such a violent outburst.
Don't treat me like a kid! Do you know who I am?
Why don't you tell the group, Saul?
Fine. I am Saul.
Hi, Saul.
No, I am Saul, the son of Kish, of the Matrites family, the king of Israel.
Aren't you the former king of Israel?
I was a king, until that foolish shepherd boy went and ruined everything.
And who was that boy, Saul?
David.
Oh, I like King David.
I like King David more.
Ladies, please.
He'd still be herding sheep if it wasn't for me. I gave him the opportunity to slay Goliath.
Opportunity? The only reason you gave him the opportunity is because you and your army were too afraid to fight. And with aim like that, I'd be afraid to fight Goliath too.
Was he ever grateful for all that I did for him? And how does he repay me?
He kills thousands of your enemies.
Actually, he kills tens of thousands of your enemies.
Look, Saul, all David ever did was serve you better than any servant you ever had. And you're still jealous.
No, someone was jealous of me. I ruled Israel for 40 years without a hitch, and they couldn't take it.
Now, Saul, who do you think was jealous of you?
God.
You can't be serious.
In the books of the law, God says he's jealous. He admits it.
I think the context is different from what you think.
What's wrong with jealousy? God gets jealous, and jealousy can drive people to do great things they never imagined doing.
Or it can make them do evil they never imagined doing.
Is she talking about us when we sold Joseph into slavery?
She must be talking about Leah and Rachel and their marriages to Jacob.
She must be talking about Rachel and how she allowed my husband to have affairs with other women.
Jealousy is a negative emotion. It reflects fear, anxiety for an anticipated loss. It also reflects insecurity. Now tell me, Saul, does that sound like an attribute that you'd want to have?
I get it. You're just jealous and are trying to keep me down.
Yikes! That Saul was kind of an angry man. He scared me. Why was he angry? Jealousy. He was jealous of David. Remember Joseph and the coat of many colors a couple weeks back? Those brothers of his were so mean. And why? Jealousy again. There's that word. Over the gift of a coat that made them so angry. Remember, I told you jealousy is a dangerous emotion. It makes you do things you usually regret. Now, I have an object lesson to show you to illustrate anger in a person. Hi. Okay, we're outside because this is going to be kind of a mess. As you haven't maybe realized, watch a few of my videos and messes are my thing, I guess. So, I have two pops here, okay? I have a pop here that is so happy. Look at the smile on that guy. He's so happy. This is going to be Daniel. He was such a good man. Or Joseph, remember from the coat of many colors? He was so forgiving. All the things his brothers did to him, and he still forgave them and was loving. Okay? And this is you and this is me. We are happy, we are loving people. Okay? Oh, there's the pop that's got problems. Ooh, is that a sad pop? Looks kind of angry. I labeled it angry pop. This might be the other governors that were in with Daniel, and they were so jealous, they started getting angry and trying to figure out what they could do to him. Or maybe the brothers from Joseph and the coat of many colors. Those brothers were so angry that Joseph got a beautiful coat. And so they did mean things to him, okay? So there's angry pop. And there is happy pop, okay? Now, if we are happy and we love everyone, do we say nice things to them or do we say mean things to them? We say nice things to them, right? We compliment them, we tell them we love them, right? If we are an angry person, if we have anger built up inside of us, remember the one lesson where I said, what's inside of your heart comes out of your mouth, right? Well, what's in your heart, anger, might come out of your mouth, and you might say harsh words. You might say negative things to people. You might say angry things. You might yell at people. That would not be good, okay? We don't want to have anger because then it comes out of our mouth, okay? So we want to do everything we can to not be angry. Don't get in situations that make you angry, okay? Don't hang around with people who make you angry, all right? They are negative people. Surround yourself with happy people who say nice things to you, okay? So we're gonna see, if we're always around people, I'm gonna set these down here. If we are always around people who are happy, okay, and they say nice things to us, okay, this is nice words, okay? This is so nice, happy words. They say positive things. They compliment you. That's happy words. You are so nice. I like it when you are so giving and caring, they say. You are always the first person I call, because when I have a problem, I call you because you are so positive and caring. Happy. There's no reaction. Happy people don't react. They don't do things that they regret. They don't say things that they wouldn't want anybody to hear. Okay? How about this angry person over here? There's all this anger built up inside. They hang around with angry people who say nasty things, harsh words. They are always putting people down. And what happens when the angry person has someone put the... Oh no! What's happening? Look at all that anger spilling out of this pot. That's what happens. When anger builds up, it has to explode out of you, comes out of your mouth. This is why jealousy is so dangerous. Envy, wanting what other people have and not being happy with what you have. God gave us gifts, and we need to be thankful for those gifts because they're just right for us. They are the gifts that God has given us because He has a plan for us. And He gives other people gifts, and we are not to covet those gifts. We are not to envy or be jealous of other people's gifts. Those gifts are just right for them. So, remember this little lesson about being happy with what you have or being angry about what someone else has. We never want to be jealous or angry. Okay, we're back here in the Praise Center again, and that was quite a little display of anger, huh? Mr. Pophead, anger just popping off. When you're filled with anger, that's what happens. Jealousy creates anger, and anger just spills out of you, just like that pop bottle. Next, let's make a craft that will kind of remind you of Daniel in the lion's den. And I want you to associate that with jealousy, leads to anger, leads to regretful. Okay? So, let's get started here. If you have a small paper plate or maybe a doily, or you can just cut out a circle on a page, okay? We are going to, and I remember there was a time when I showed you how to cut out things fast. I've got some little things here that we're going to stick on this plate, okay? They look like leaves. Remember when we made a tree and we made leaves? Take your paper, and if you have yellow and orange, that'd be good for a lion. If you don't have colored paper, just use crayons and markers and draw it, okay? But I folded this paper in half, I folded it in half again, and now I have the size that I want my little leaf thingies, okay? And now all I have to do is make the shape that I want. Make sure you cut the edge part off, otherwise they're all going to be stuck together. And see, now I have 4 all at once. See how that goes? If I don't make a point down at the bottom, they're all going to be stuck together. So, Daniel was a really good man, and I'm always amazed when I read these stories in the Bible at how forgiving people are. They just amaze me that people do just horrid things to them and they still forgive them. They find a way to forgive them, and that comes from God. That's because they're really godly people, and God helps them to forgive. Guess I'll fold this one in thirds here so I have the size I want. Get a few more orange ones here. All right, there we go. Now we're going to take a glue stick. Well, let's do the face first. How do we draw a lion's face? All right. Well, let's start with a nose. Kind of a triangle like that. There's a lion's nose. And then you got a little thing coming down here. I don't know what they call that, but there's usually a little line like that. And there we've got a lion's mouth. Okay, how about eyes? Eye shape. Kind of an oval like that. And then just make, okay, and eye shape. Ooh, a little bigger. I'll show you what you do then. Make this outside thicker so it looks bigger. Make this inside thicker so it looks smaller. And then they'll be the same size. All right, there we go. How about some whiskers? Okay, we got a lion's face. Now all we have to do is take this glue stick and start putting our little leaves, I don't know what else to call them, around here. Let's get some orange mixed in there. Let's see, you can just fly right along here. Let's get some up here. Get a little orange in here. Just glob that glue down there and start sticking. Okay. And just keep overlapping them. Put another yellow one up there. And keep going around. Keep filling in and going around here. And pretty soon you're going to say, wow, look at how cool this lion looks. When you get done with that, we might have something that looks like that. Okay? There we've got Mr. Lion. Lion from the lion's den. Daniel was protected by God. Okay? On the back of this, I'd like you to write something just to remind you. Before we do that, I'm going to show you that you could use this. If you had a paper bag You know how to make a puppet out of a paper bag like this? If you glued this, or your doily, or your coffee filter, you could use a coffee filter. Any of those things, if you glued it right on there, you would have a lion puppet. How cool is that? Okay? If you don't have a paper bag, you could get a pencil or a popsicle stick. It can be a bigger popsicle, anything you want to. Take a piece of tape and you can tape it on there. Okay? Or a pencil, tape it on there. All right? And there you have a really cute lion from the Daniel's Lion Den. Okay? On the back of here, or if you wanted to mount it on your paper bag, you could write it on the back of the paper bag. I want to put down envy is kind of the same thing as jealousy. Envy equals anger. Anger leads to regret. And then we have let's use envy again because it's a smaller word. Envy. How about a red? Have you ever seen a circle with a line through it and it says no? If we want to combat jealousy or envy, we need contentment. Okay? Contentment will battle envy or jealousy. Okay? And now we can put our little lion on our paper bag or our stick or whatever we want to. And that will remind us about anger and jealousy, envy. We never want to have envy or jealousy. Okay? Those things lead us to do things that we almost always later regret. Okay? So, in conclusion, I'd like to leave you with this. Practice being happy with the gifts God has given you. They are just right for you. And be happy for the gifts God has given others. They are just right for them. This should help keep the jealousy away, so that you don't have to have anger building up inside of you like Saul or that pop bottle. You don't want to be a mess. You want to be happy in the knowledge that God has a specific plan for you and know that the gifts you receive are just right for you. We love you. See you in 2 weeks.